Hello, this is Paranormal Girl. I'm going to talk about a very famous UFO incident in Kecksburg. In a small town located near Mount Pleasant in Pennsylvania, the town folk experienced an alleged UFO incident on December the 9th, 1965. The local radio station and news stations reported the sighting of a mysterious object in the sky that had crash-landed around the community of Acme. Reports quickly changed as people and reporters found their way to Kecksburg to see the fallen object and to determine what had actually occurred. State police, volunteer firemen, and the military secured the wooded area where the mysterious object had fallen before everyone else had arrived. Many locals witnessed a flatbed tractor-trailer truck carrying a metallic acorn-shaped object with odd symbols on it, covered up by tarp. Military forces had taken the object to Lockbourne Air Force Base during the night. Then it was transported to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base headquarters for the Federal Aviation Authority. The Kecksburg UFO incident remains a mystery even today, surrounded by many different conspiracies and government cover-ups. The first conspiracy compiled by researchers was that pieces of a Russian aircraft, Cosmos 96, landed in Kecksburg. Researchers came to this conclusion because the morning of December the 9th, 1965, Cosmos 96 had actually landed in Canada. Cosmos 96 was a classified Soviet Union space probe that had failed to launch. However, this conspiracy was quickly disputed when Project Blue Book compared the trajectories of both crash sites. The trajectory of the Cosmos 96 landing couldn't have played any role in the events at Kecksburg whatsoever. In addition, Leslie Keane concluded in a 2003 investigation that the aircraft was not Cosmos 96 after receiving classified NASA documents on the incident in Kecksburg. Many people developed the conspiracy that the alleged object was actually space debris or an American aircraft. The United States Air Force UFO Investigate Operation Project Blue Book eliminated the idea of space debris by their report. Project Blue Book reported that no United States debris was reported re-entering the Earth's atmosphere that day. Redfern states, as a result, elements of the Air Force took careful initial steps to try and resolve the mystery, but publicly at least could find no evidence whatsoever that either an aircraft or a missile was a definite culprit. The Blue Book report ended with the thought of space debris from an aircraft. However, John Ventura and Owen Eichler created a new theory in 1991 that it was actually a GE Mark II re-entry vehicle. This theory came to light after the government released documents on the American aircraft. Ventura and Eichler discovered 4 similarities between the Kecksburg UFO and the American aircraft. The first similarity was that the GE had 4 controlled jets, explaining the controlled turn-in descent witnesses had actually described. In addition, the GE Mark II re-entry vehicle was constructed out of copper, explaining the green flames by witnesses. Next, the photos of the re-entry vehicle showed markings that might have seemed foreign to observers. The shape of the re-entry vehicle was extremely similar, both having an acorn-shaped body. Ventura and Eichler also thought the extreme military present and quick cleanup was to cover up that the American government was spying on the Soviet Union. After another conspiracy surrounding Kecksburg UFO incident was that the object that had landed was an alien UFO. There are some eyewitness testimonies that states some compelling evidence that there was alien activity. One witness, Stan Gordon, said that he'd seen an arm hanging down with 3 digits and a kind of lizard-like skin. In addition, a man working at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base claimed he saw a body that was 4 to 5 feet tall or weighed around about 80 pounds, lying on a workbench with lizard-like skin. Don Sebastian was in Kecksburg when the object landed and attempted to access the crash site. Mr. Sebastian states that his attempt resulted in him hearing blood-curdling screams, causing him to flee from the woods. In addition, NASA and the Air Force secretiveness and of the events at Kecksburg added to the possibility of an actual UFO. The military forces who secured the crash site were heavily armed according to eyewitness testimony and were quick to resolve the situation. NASA refused to release any documentation of the event until, of course, 50 years later. The actions the government and NASA took to cover up the Kecksburg UFO incident led people to believe it really was aliens. The multiple conspiracy surrounding the Kecksburg UFO incident are related directly to the government cover-up of the event. At the time of the event, the United States Air Force stated that nothing was found at the crash site, concluded it was a meteorite. In addition, Project Blue Book claimed that only 3 people were dispatched by the Air Force from radar installation near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The team's job was to search for evidence of what came down. In recent years, experts and researchers have pressured the government and NASA to release the Kecksburg documents. Leslie Keane in 2003 requested that NASA documents be released for a sci-fi channel show aimed at unraveling the complexities of the mystery. She received the documents from NASA. However, they could tell that they were missing files. The theory that NASA had gotten rid of certain documents containing information about the incident. And they do that a lot, don't they? Judge Sullivan in 2007 took civil action against NASA to secure public access to all files, records and documents and memorandum on the Kecksburg crash. The civil action revealed 3 important truths on NASA reports of the Kecksburg incident. The first was the trajectory statements NASA made to its files on the Kecksburg affair. Next, people were concerned that NASA conducted a less than satisfactory search for documentation. And finally, many researchers were very suspicious of NASA's attempt to successfully open up the Kecksburg files. During Bill Clinton's presidency, John Podesta stated, "It's time to find out what the truth really is that is out there. We ought to do it because it's right. We ought to do it because the American people, quite frankly, can handle the truth. And we ought to do it because it's the law." This statement shows that the American people are over the lack of cooperation from NASA and should release all the files about the Kecksburg mystery. They feel it's time for the Kecksburg UFO incident to come to a conclusion 50 plus years later. The events that happened at Kecksburg on that December the 9th, 1965 may never come to a conclusion at all, even with all the conspiracies out there. One thing is for sure, that the alleged object was not the Russian space probe, Cosmos 96, due to the trajectory. Project Blue Book's report eliminated the conspiracy that space debris or a missile had landed in Kecksburg. However, the release of the government documents in 1991 has created the closest conspiracy to date that a GE Mark II re-entry vehicle had landed. Finally, many locals and researchers believe it was an alien UFO that had crash landed in that small town. The lasting legacy of the Kecksburg UFO incident is a summer festival hosted by local volunteer fire department. And the UFO festival lets the witnesses tell their story. So what's your thoughts on the Kecksburg UFO incident? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to see what you know about it. Thank you for listening.